Hi class! Welcome to a whole nother new year with me. Aren't you excited? The learning target for today is to do unit conversions using dimensional analysis. The scale is, if you're a 3, you can do unit versions using dimensional analysis. If you're a 2, you have trouble setting up dimensional analysis. If you're a 1, you can do unit conversions, but you can't do it using dimensional analysis. And if you're a 0, you cannot do unit conversions. So, just one thing here. If you can do unit conversions not using dimensional analysis, but when you try to use dimensional analysis you just have some trouble setting it up correctly, then you would be a 2. So we did scales last year. This is the first time I'm putting them into the videos though. And I'll just ask when we do the sponge activity at the end that you put whatever you think your rating is at the end of this video at the end with your sponge activity. And yes, you do have to write this down. Let's get started. Alright, so here's our first problem. We want to convert 7 feet into inches. So, in order to do that, let's start off with the measurement they give us. 7 feet. And to do dimensional analysis, everything is in fractions. Don't worry, it's actually a lot easier than it looks. But to do this, let's just put it over 1. Any number is always just over 1, right? Now, how do we convert feet into inches? Well, how many inches are in a foot? 12, right? So, we know that there are 12 inches in 1 foot. So we want to take this right here and turn it into a fraction. We're either going to say 12 inches over 1 foot or 1 foot over 12 inches. The way we figure that out is looking back at what we've already written over here and where feet is. Feet is on the top of this fraction. That means in the fraction we're going to write next to it, feet has to be on the bottom. So what we're going to write here is times 12 inches over 1 foot. The reason we do it that way is whenever you're multiplying fractions, if you ever have anything that's diagonally across from each other, those things can always cancel out if they are the same. So we have feet here and feet here. So when we go to do this out, before we do anything, both of these feet cross each other out. The 2 units cancel each other out. So all we're left with is inches. And that's what we wanted because right here we want to convert it into inches. So that's how dimensional analysis works. You know you're doing it right because what you're doing is you're canceling out what's not needed and leaving what you want. So now we can deal with the numbers, and we've got 7 times 12, which is 84 inches, over 1 times 1 is 1, so 84 inches over 1, or just 84 inches. You may think, why do we have to set it up this way? I already know how to convert feet into inches without doing all this extra work. This kind of simple problem may be easier to do in a different method. However, once we go into the more difficult, longer problems, it's much easier to set it up in this method than trying to do it all and following along the units just in your head. Let's go to the next problem. Alright, so now we have convert 2 inches into meters. So what you're going to do, same first step, the value that they give you, 2 inches, you're going to put right there. And just so you can deal with it in fractions, over 1. Now you need to convert it. So you may not know how to convert inches into meters as well as you knew how to convert inches into feet. So those I'll provide for you. What you'll need is that there are 2.54 centimeters in 1 inch and 100 centimeters in 1 meter. So you've got 2 different conversions you have to do. You have to do both of them. So first, since we're dealing with inches, we want the one that converts inches into something. So now we set it up. So inches is on top. That means when we take this, inches has to be on bottom. So times 2.54 centimeters over 1 inch. Now we have another conversion we have to do though. I'm going to do it all in one fraction that goes all the way along. It's easier that way, you don't have to worry too much, just do it all at once. Now we have 100 centimeters is equal to 1 meter. Well, now we have centimeters on top, so that means centimeters will go on bottom. So, times 1 meter over 100 centimeters. Now you're going to multiply this all out, but you are going to put it into a decimal, and feel free to use your calculators for that. So, when you do that out, what you need to do is multiply everything that's on top and then divide by everything that's on bottom. So, 2 times 2.54 divided by 100. Notice I didn't include the ones anywhere. If you multiply or divide by 1 at all, it does nothing. So if there's ever any ones in your problem, which there always will be, ignore them. They're useless. So multiply what's on top, 2 times 2.54, and then divide by 100. You can put that all into your calculator, and then what you get out should be 0.0508 meters. And that's your answer. It's really not all that bad. It looks bad at first, but when all you have to do is multiply what's on top and divide by what's on bottom, plug it into your calculator, and you're done. Let's move on to the next problem. Next problem. Chester pays $600 per month for rent. How much will he have paid in rent after 2 years? So, they give you 2 different values here. $600 per month and 2 years. You'll have to use both of those in your problem, but you'll have to use a little bit more too, because notice this is per month and this is years. So you'll also have to do a conversion of months to years. So let's just write that down first. So how many months are in a year? 12. So 12 months is equal to 1 year. Now, when you put this out, the order doesn't matter too much, but you do have to make sure what goes on top, what goes on bottom. That part's important. So, let's just go in order. So we have $600 per month. So, in a fraction, $600 per. Per always means to divide. So $600 per month. So $600 over 1 month. And I'll just abbreviate. Okay? So this time you're not just putting it over a random 1, it's over 1 month. So it already is in a fraction. Now, we've got dollars and months in our units here. So now we need to get rid of months by using the unit conversion. 12 months equals 1 year. Months is on the bottom, so that means when we write our next fraction, months has to be on the top. So, in our fraction, we say times 12 months over 1 year. Now, we take this, and we still have one more value to deal with, the 2 years. So, times, and years is on bottom here, so that means years has to be on top here. So, 2 years. But there's nothing to go on bottom. We have nothing on bottom. Well, that we'll just put over 1 like we were doing at the beginning of the problem last time. If there's nothing to go on bottom, put a 1 there. Now, multiply everything out. Multiply by the top, divide by the bottom. However, notice on the bottom we have 1, 1, 1. So we don't have to worry about that there, because they're all 1s, so none of them are needed. So this isn't even going to be a fraction. So, our months cancel out, our years cancel out, and we're left with only dollars. If you did this right, Chester pays $600 per month. How much will he have paid? That's how much money, how many dollars will he have paid after 2 years? So the answer you want is dollars. So, equals, and then 600 times 12 times 2, that should equal $14,400. Alright, I know this has been a long video, but bear with me, this is the last problem. Now we're going to convert 70 miles per hour into feet per minute. Alright, so this one sounds tricky, but it's not too bad still. We have miles and hours, and we want to convert both of those into feet and minutes. So, first we have to figure out converting miles to feet. You may or may not know, but I'll give it to you, that there are 5,280 feet in 1 mile. And I'm fairly certain that you know that there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So now that we have those conversions, let's start with our problem. So first, start out with what they give us. So 70 miles over 1 hour. My program's not being very nice to me with writing right now. Then we want to multiply by our conversions. It doesn't matter which one of these conversions we go with first. So let's just go with the one I put on top. Alright, so there are 5,280 feet in 1 mile. So we have miles on top, so miles has to go on bottom. So times 5,280 feet over 1 mile. Then times hours was on bottom, so now hours has to be on top. So 1 hour over 60 minutes. So now when we go to do this out, we see which units cancel. Miles, mile, hour, hour. So we are left with feet over minutes. Feet per minute. That's exactly what we wanted. Now that we know that that was what we wanted, we can do it all out. So 70 times 5,280 divided by 60. Just put that all into your calculator, and that should give you a grand total of 6,160 feet per minute. And that is our answer. Alright, now for the sponge activity. So I want you to use dimensional analysis on both of these problems. First, convert 3 miles into inches. Second, convert 120 yards per minute into feet per second. So I say use dimensional analysis to do it because it would be very easy to go onto some online program and just type in convert this to this. I want to see that you use dimensional analysis correctly as well, so that you got dimensional analysis correctly and you got the right answer. If I don't see dimensional analysis correctly, I won't take it. So, just like last year, make sure to take notes on the entire video and do the sponge activity to get credit on the entire video. And if you get both problems correct, you'll get a bonus point on the next test. Also, please, somewhere, either at the end of your notes or circle it back where it was, please rate yourself on that scale from 0 to 3 where you think you are. Make sure to submit all this to eBackpack and have a good night.